Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to present to you at this time the free family of fittings. Let's start with the first fitting, the free flap. One of the free flap characteristics is its sleek design. Design engineers have thought long and hard how to give this particular fitting its slimline design with the aim, 1, to be visually pleasing, and 2, to retain the most possible storage space inside the cabinet. Additionally, when cabinet hangers are used, the hangers are more easily reached and adjusted. Our fitting is the only one in the world that has its horizontal force projection originate from a vertical spring package, resulting in a compact unit. The fitting has the advantage that it can be mounted by using 2 tabs. That is to say, the fitting can be installed with one hand, which again is unique worldwide. Furthermore, the screws are already pre-installed. Let me briefly demonstrate the installation. I simply clip the fitting onto the side panel, enough to make it stay firmly in place. In an assembly line where vibration is an issue, the fitting will not shake loose or fall. Unlike other flap fittings on the market today, we engineered our fitting to be mounted with just one hand. Other fittings currently on the market require 2 hands to position and insert the screws. Ultimately, a third hand, not there of course, would be required to fasten the screws. Now it becomes evident that the tabs alone give the fitting sufficient support during installation. For final installation, we use the drill only 3 times. Especially for joiners and cabinet makers, Hafele has prepared these templates, which can be used on either side of the cabinet. All that's left to do is to drill the holes, and you get a precise drilling pattern. Now let me go through the steps with this cabinet. Another benefit of the sleek fitting is the ability to access the cabinet hangers with the screwdriver held at a 9 to 10 degree angle. Compared to other fittings of the kind which require more installation depth, we obviously would have to use an installation angle of 45 degrees. At a 45 degree angle, the screw heads are more likely to become damaged than at a 10 degree angle. Once both fittings have been installed, please note the warning. For joiners and cabinet makers, Hafele has developed a special drilling template which can be adjusted for individual door overlays. As needed, the template can be set according to the overlay dimension that is desired for side panels with thicknesses of 16 mm, 19 mm, and 22 mm. The template is simply applied and drilling can begin. Due to the symmetrical configuration of the bracket, it can also be installed in reverse. After having installed both brackets, we will start the process of fitting the flap. For this, we have an excellent system, the clip-on system. Let me demonstrate how it works. We simply clip on the flap to both sides, as you can see. Now let's discuss the other 4 advantages of the fitting. There is the 107 degree opening angle and the 90 degree opening angle, in addition to the multi-position stop, the soft closing mechanism, and perhaps the most unique feature, the push-to-open functionality. Let's take a closer look at the fitting. Here we have the opening angle restraint from 107 degrees to 90 degrees. Moving the restraint forward, the angle will narrow. Now the opening angle is restricted to 90 degrees. However, we can revert to the original setting anytime. In other words, the fitting has 2 different opening angles. Owing to the kinematic motion sequence of the fitting, we are able to work with a protruding profile plate. This is attested by the fact that it will not slam against anything during the process of closing. Here again, witness the push-to-open functionality, which lets the flap open by 40 millimeters. Now, by virtue of the multi-position stop, the flap can be adjusted as desired, never swinging the flap upward beyond your reach. The flap's weight of 7 kilograms can be operated with a mere 150 grams. Needless to say, matching cover caps are available. The new design's introduction is scheduled for the fall of 2014, including the option to have the Hafele logo or that of the customer imprinted. Now let me introduce the free flap's smaller brother. Many smaller flap weights can be found on the market, and we took careful note of them. We cover this segment with our small free flap, suitable for 1.8 to 7 kilogram and flap heights of 400 millimeters. The configuration is much the same as with the larger model. You'll use the same drilling template for the cabinet. That's why the drilling pattern for both the small and the large version are compatible. Now you see the small free flap with its small cover cap. If we want to install a large cabinet next to a small one, we have to go back to the large free flap. By now we know that the large free flap calls for a large cover cap. For those reasons, we've been mulling over the possibility of having a single-size cover cap for both models. Now we are able to install the large cover cap on both fittings and thus adapt the design of the cabinet's interior. We now have both cabinets mounted and secured. Now let me show you how to adjust the flaps. For this, we place the cover caps on both the large and the small free flap. During development, we were debating how best to achieve a user-friendly solution when adjusting the flaps. Foremost in our minds was the ability to adjust the flaps without having to empty the whole cabinet. We proceed as follows. Namely, we remove the cover cap and use a screwdriver to adjust the flap from the front. By way of the brackets, the flap can be adjusted three-dimensionally. Adjusting the holding power also takes place from the front by using this screw. The adjustment of the flap must be such so as to require a precise balance application of force for both the opening and closing action. Since a credit card only begins to bend after 50 to 60 grams of pressure is applied, it will serve as a perfect means of verification. In other words, the flap has been accurately adjusted when it can be operated with a credit card. Another fitting of the free family is the free fold. This is the new double flap lift-up fitting. Its predecessor models are known at Hafele as Senso or Fold. The distinction here is that the free fold is spring-loaded now and no longer works with gas-filled struts. In the back, we have 3 spring-loaded fittings. As you can see, each Hafele fitting has the multi-position stop function. The fitting is of course equipped with a connecting hinge plus finger protection guard. I'll gladly demonstrate that. As you see, nothing happens. Now, by clipping it in, it's again fully functional. As with any free, the opening process is easy. The free fold is also equipped with an eccentric, enabling the flap to be slid forward. Here you see, by way of the adjustable eccentric that's responsible for the load-bearing capacity, how the multi-position stop is obtained. Here we come across the so-called tabs again, which we can insert into the drill holes and which by themselves will ensure that the fitting remains firmly in place. That is to say, the fitting can be installed while the cabinet is standing upright. The installation on the side panel can also be carried out in a user-friendly way with just one hand. The free fold is impressive, with a very easy opening action. As you can see, the fitting is damped during the opening and closing action. The setting of the fitting's load-bearing capacity is done with this screw. You can select the force in such a way that the multi-position stop is active during opening and closing. The fitting's force should not exceed 140 grams when operating the flap. The scale extends over a plus and minus range. It is generally advisable to allow a little wiggle room when performing the settings. The connection between the support arm and flap is achieved by a simple clip-on installation. The alignment of the flaps can be carried out via this slot. To align the flap is closed, pressed, and reopened carefully. In the end, only the screw towards the slot needs to be tightened. The new design of the cover caps gives the entire fitting a harmonious appearance. We now present the free swing, also with the tried and true installation method. Here we again find the tabs and pre-mounted screws. Lateral stability is guaranteed by the torsion bar. The torsion bar can be fastened with something called a knee lever lock. The torsion bar can be installed without any tools too. The bar is simply slid onto the receiving parts and locked with the knee lever lock. The flap can be opened and closed with a single finger. Here we again employ the simple clip-on system, which is typical for the entire Free family product range. Here you can see for yourself. The holding power adjustment is performed with this screw. This screw is responsible for the height adjustment, the center screw for side-to-side adjustment, and the upper screw governs the tilting angle adjustment of the flap. Here we have the free up, which can also be installed using one hand. Again, the screws are pre-mounted. The clip-on system for the flap is already pre-installed. Part of the free up fitting is the provided torsion bar, which can be installed without the use of tools. Simply slide on and fasten with the knee lever lock. Here is a demonstration of the torsion bar's tool-free installation. As you can see, one simply slides the bar in and locks it in with the knee lever lock. The free up, too, is damped during the opening and closing action. And it is equipped with the usual quick fitting system with clip-on installation. The flap is now only loosely engaged and not yet fully installed. Light pressure on the flap will start the installation process and make it functional. The fitting offers three-dimensional adjustment of the flap. The upper screw governs the tilting angle adjustment of the flap. The center screw is responsible for the side adjustment, and the lower screw for the height adjustment. This screw adjusts the holding power for the multi-position stop. The sleek and contemporary design of the cover cap rounds off the system to become a truly outstanding fitting.